Allah is my heart's speech. Your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest. Permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest. Permit me to pass the ultimate test.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Praise be to Allah alone. We all praise Him and we seek His help. Whomsoever Allah guides is the truly guided one, and whomsoever Allah leaves astray, none can show him guidance. May the best peace and blessings be upon Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Brothers and sisters, welcome again to another live edition of your program, Ask Huda, while we're approaching the end of Ramadan and we're only having a couple more days left. May Allah the Almighty bless us all and accept the best of our deeds, pardon us and forgive us our sins. Our phone numbers beginning with the area code are 0020238555249, alternatively area code 002 then 01125008679, and the email address is ask@huda.tv, and the Facebook page is Dr. Muhammad Salah Official. While waiting for your calls, I would like to answer Sister Ahmed's question from Kuwait. And before I answer your question, thank you so much for your contribution. May Allah bless you and your family and keep it in the scale of your good deeds. Brothers and sisters, your contribution to support the channel or to sponsor any program or a part of a program or even a single episode or to pay a part of the salaries of the employees is definitely appreciated by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and of course appreciated by us. We make sincere dua for all of you, those who support the channel, whether financially or morally or by propagating the word. Barakallahu fikum. We are planning actually on expanding and adding other languages. We've been talking about adding French and perhaps Dutch, inshallah. We're working hard on raising funds for that so that the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would reach everywhere. This is our duty in this life. I believe we are created for this season. We are the true missionaries. We have the mission of delivering the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Some people, Allah give them the capacity of talking. Some people, Allah give them the capacity of funding the projects, sponsoring the programs. Some other people who are working behind the cameras, they are broke, they don't have the financial means, they don't even know foreign languages, neither English or French, but they're supporting in their own way. So for everyone who is taking part in supporting a good cause like that, may Allah the Almighty bless you all and accept from all of us. Ameen. Now Sister Muhammad's question is about doing i'tikaf, partial i'tikaf. You know, when people go to pray Isha and Taraweeh and stay for Tahajjud, can they intend this part to be i'tikaf? A few episodes ago, I spoke in detail about that, basically before the beginning of the last 10 days and nights of Ramadan, and I said, everyone who's going to the masjid to pray Taraweeh, Isha and Taraweeh, even if it is a couple hours, intend when you enter the masjid the intention of i'tikaf. Because al-i'tikafu la hadda li aqallih. There is no minimum, there is no specific time that you have to spend. So a couple hours, when you pray Isha and Jama'ah, when you pray Taraweeh, and when you sit in between, perhaps until Tahajjud and Fajr, that is i'tikaf if you intend it, inshaAllah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sister Lima from the KSA. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Sheikh, I have a question about Zakat al-Fitr. I just had a baby and now I have a maid. I wanted to know that I know that we should give Zakat al-Fitr according to how many people we have in the household. Should my maid give Zakat al-Fitr on her own, or can I give it to her? Give it instead of her.
Instead of whom?
Because she sent all her money to her country.
Instead of whom? He said instead of whom?
The maid.
The maid. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Barakallah fiki. Jazakallah khairan, Sister Lima. Thank you. Sister Hamza from the KSA.
Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Sheikh, I have 3 questions.
Yeah?
My first question is, can a child pray for his non-Muslim parents if they are dead? And if yes, what kind of a prayer should it be? The child has become a Muslim. And the second question is...
Yeah?
Hello?
Yeah?
Yeah, the second question is, if while the Sheikh of Makkah, he is making supplication in the witr prayer, can we just turn on the TV and if we are praying along with him and saying Ameen, do we get the same reward as if we are also praying with him? Like at least the supplication, not the prayer, but the supplication.
Okay.
Is it accepted as if we are also doing it?
Okay.
If we are saying Ameen also. And the third is, if we pray Laylatul Qadr, if we pray Taraweeh, and in one masjid, and we pray Tahajjud in another masjid with another imam, till the completion of the Tahajjud prayer, along with the witr, till he finishes witr, will we get the same reward of praying the whole night as we would get if we had prayed in the same masjid?
All right. Thank you, Sister Hamza from the KSA. Barakallah fiki. Brother Arshad from Qatar. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Ask Huda. Assalamu alaikum, Arshad.
Wa alaikum salam. Before I ask the question, I just want to say that may Allah bless what you're doing, what the Huda TV is doing,
Ameen.
and may He reward you and accept our prayers. And also that may He bring peace to the Ummah and all the chaos that's happening. May He end and guide everyone.
Ameen. 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 Thank you, Brother Arshad.
Yes, I have one question.
No.
We are traveling to India this week, inshallah. So I wanted to know how long can we do qasr? That is shorten or join the prayers.
How long are you staying there?
Short. We are planning to stay there for 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Then you pray in the same place, right?
Yeah.
Okay. If you're staying in the same place for 2 weeks, then you pray regular. You will be treated as resident. Okay? Thank you, Arshad. Jazakallah khairan, and have a safe journey. And all the brothers and sisters, the expats in the Gulf, we're honored to have you in any Muslim country. And whenever you go back home, give salam to your families, have a safe trip, and happy Eid to all of you. May Allah accept from all of us. Sister Lima from the KSA, you're not required to pay zakah on behalf of your employees, but if you do that out of your goodwill, and if they cannot afford it, that will be appreciated, and you will be definitely rewarded for it, inshallah. Now, if you maid pays her zakah on her own and she sends back home, then you're not required to pay zakatul fitr in her state. Assalamu alaikum. Yusuf from Sierra Leone. Assalamu alaikum, Yusuf.
Sheikh, wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Sheikh, I'm asking in connection, I regularly listen to your program, both you and the one from Saudi, and there was a time when somebody asked about working in a bank, and it was ruled that because of the interest base of the bank, a Muslim is not allowed to work in the bank. Now, my question is, I work in the World Bank. World Bank is a development bank, and of course I would tell you that part of the source of their income is interest. They sell bonds to the capital market for some interest, and they also borrow money from the capital market to lend to developing countries in particular for development. So that is part of the source of the income that the bank earns, and maybe part of that salaries are paid. Is it halal for a Muslim to work in such a place, development bank like World Bank?
طيب. Okay. Jazakallahu khairan. Yusuf from Sierra Leone. Shayan from Pakistan. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Ask Huda.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sheikh Salah, how are you, sir?
Fine, alhamdulillah. Thank you for asking, Shayan. How about yourself and your family?
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, shukr. Allah has been blessed on all of us. Alhamdulillah, we pray for all of you and your team, Sheikh Huda, for giving us such a nice program.
Jazakallahu khairan. Thank you. Barakallahu feek.
Sheikh, I have 2 questions if you can answer. One is regarding zakat. I have a piece of land which is not yet in my name, but I have been giving installments for the last 4 years. It will be transferred in my name once I pay a certain amount to the landowner, which I have not been paid yet. So I just need to ask, will I be paying the zakah on that piece of land which is not under my name as yet?
Well, we need to ask you, Akhi Shayan, what are you going to do with the lot, with the piece of land?
Okay, my intention, the name which I have got it with is basically for my children's education or my daughter's marriage, something like that.
Okay. Well, in this case, whether it's in your name or if it is not in your name, you're not selling the property now, you're not trading in it, there is no zakah on it, inshallah. Only, inshallah, when you plan to sell it, if you sell it, you pay the zakah on the money that's collected, if it reaches the nisab, and if it completes the hawl, whether by itself or in addition to other possession that you have. Jazakallah khairan, Shayan. Anisa, Sister Anisa from United Arab Emirates, welcome to Ask Huda. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh. How are you?
Fine, alhamdulillah. Thank you for asking, Sister Anisa. Go ahead, please.
I watch your program regularly, and alhamdulillah, I really like it. But I just got a question. It's a bit weird question. Because, of course, I was born in a Muslim family, but before I was not practicing. But alhamdulillah, from a year time now, I'm practicing. And in next month, inshallah, I'm getting married with one of our reverse
Congratulations.
Hello, can you hear me, Sheikh?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I was saying congratulations.
Thank you. My thing is, because of course I'm going for Taraweeh, I'm going for Camel Layl, and when yesterday when I went for Camel Layl, the Sheikh make a dua, and everyone is crying, but I couldn't. I mean, normally when you hear the dua, you feel very emotional, but yesterday I couldn't, and then I come back home and weird kind of things coming in my head, and I read a lot of astaghfar and things, and I spoke to my mom as well, and I asked her, maybe I upset her or something. I asked for forgiveness, and now alhamdulillah I feel much better. But in this case, Sheikh, maybe my sister said maybe you're getting more closer to Allah and your deen. Maybe sometimes shaitan send waswas in your heart. So in this case, if you can suggest me any dua, and any dua, or I can pray, or because it's the month of Ramadan, if you can pray for me as well. And the second question my sister is asking, because we missed our 7 days
yes, understood.
fast, yeah. And then of course after Ramadan we're gonna we have to make it up, but we're gonna fast for Shawwal as well. So do we have to fast first the fast that we have missed, or we have to fast for Shawwal first?
All right, Sister Anisa.
And I just want to ask you, please, when you're going to pray, make a lot of dua for me, that Allah put me on the right path, and because there's a lot of weird things coming in my head from yesterday night. I couldn't sleep, but alhamdulillah, I feel much better now, because I've done a lot of tasbih and azkar, and please pray for me, Sheikh.
Thank you, Sister Anisa. Most definitely, inshallah, I will do that, inshallah. Jazakum Allahu khairan. Brother Muhammad from Qatar. Assalamu alaikum, Muhammad.
Wa alaikum salam, Sheikh. I have a question about zakah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had the opinion that zakah should not be given to mushrik because it is ibadah. But I have a clarification when we ask whether we can pray behind the imam of, even though he is not maybe he is a mushrik, but that is allowed there. It is also ibadah.
What do you mean? What do you mean an imam who's a mushrik?
Because we know there are some of the imams, they are not practicing from a different way of this thing, but we don't know whether his aqidah, how correct it is. But if you look at this, there are some of them are really they are mushrik.
Okay, continue. Go on.
We are said that okay, you can pray behind this imam because we know this imam. But when it comes to zakat, this is you cannot give zakat to mushrik. But I just want to clarification.
Akhi Muhammad, what I need to ask you is this: you say that we say, they say. Who says whatever that you're talking about, and who determines who's a mushrik? You know. And when you say that we don't know what kind of aqidah they practice, but they're mushrik, how could you say that? How could you say about somebody who says La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, he's a mushrik because we don't know what kind of aqidah that they practice? If he says La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, he's a Muslim. If he's an imam and he's leading the prayer and reciting properly and obviously in front of me everything is correct, then he's a valid imam that we may pray behind him. If the person declares an act of shirk, the first step is we need to clarify whether he's doing that deliberately or unknowingly, and we have to discuss this with him. It is not up to us to judge people that maybe they're mushrik, so how could we pray behind somebody who's a mushrik while we're not allowed to give zakat to a mushrik? You're confusing the issues. Number one, the categories of the recipients of zakah are explained in detail in ayah number 60 of Surah At-Tawbah. The ayah, إِنَّمَا الصَّدَقَاتُ لِلْفُقَرَاءِ وَالْمَسَاكِينِ. The ayah. Yes, we do not give the zakah to a non-Muslim, but we give them from voluntary charity, because as zakah is a mandatory charity that must be collected from Muslims and paid back to poor Muslims. As the Prophet ﷺ said to Mu'adh, تُؤْخَذُ مِنْ أَغْنِيَائِهِمْ وَتُرَدُّ فِي فُقَرَائِهِمْ, when he sent him to Yemen. As I mentioned the meaning earlier. Okay? If the Imam is practicing an act which is labeled as shirk, an obvious act, a person, for instance, who invokes the dead, if you're talking about that openly and people know that from him, a person who does talisman and ta'weez and he gives it to people, you wear it, it will protect you, I would say do not pray behind him. He's practicing an act of shirk. But is he a kafir? A kafir is a big word. A kafir is a person who is not categorized as a Muslim. If he dies, he would not be treated as Muslim, he would not be buried amongst Muslims. This is a very, very dangerous stage. You know, we cannot just lightly label people or accuse people. As you know that many of our family members and people back home, born and raised doing some innovations unknowingly. There was one sister who called earlier, I was not practicing. Parents were not practicing. The feedback that I get on the email, when you know from families, they were completely off the straight path. They were practicing all sorts of innovations because they did not know any better. And gradually, alhamdulillah, watching the programs, hearing the lectures, attending the episodes and asking questions, they changed. So those people were Muslims, but they did not know. Alhamdulillah, they improved themselves and they became practicing Muslims. Okay? So please be very careful when you label people with shirk and differentiate between a person who's practicing an act which is an act of shirk, whether minor shirk or major shirk, and judging a person that he's a kafir. He should be treated as a kafir. You're not allowed to give him zakah. If you wish, we can have a whole episode to explain this in detail. But of course, I had to talk and answer your question immediately, even though there are many questions ahead of you and there are a lot of people on the phone because of the danger of the situation. Assalamu alaikum. Brother Muhammad from United Arab Emirates.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah. Thank you for asking, Akhi Muhammad.
Okay, Sheikh. Sheikh, just I have a question. On Friday, I am traveling at 2 a.m. To London, and Friday possibly is going to be Eid in the UAE. Okay, and in London, possibly it may not be Eid on Friday. Maybe it's on Saturday. Okay. Do I follow the UAE or do I follow London?
When are you setting out from the UAE?
Sorry, say that again, Sheikh.
When are you actually taking off? When is your flight taking off from Emirates?
The flight takes off at 2 a.m. on Friday morning.
Okay. Well, takes off at right before Fajr, you mean?
Before Fajr, yes.
Before Fajr, okay. And when do you arrive to England? Is it 5 hours?
Yeah, a 6 hours flight, so 7 a.m. I think 6 or 7 hours, yes.
Okay. I'll be more than happy to answer you, insha'Allah azza jal. Insha'Allah. Sister Aisha from Gambia, assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How are you?
Fine, alhamdulillah, Sister Aisha. Aisha, please do me a favor and mute your TV. You need to mute your TV first, Sister Aisha.
Okay. Okay, I have a question.
Now, please go ahead.
Hello?
I hear you, go ahead.
I saw something written somewhere, like if you are on your menstruation, and then after 4 to 5 days, you start your fasting and then see that brownish thing come, you can continue your fast. I was asking if it's really possible.
No, Sister Aisha, you need to repeat your question with more clarity. You said if you are in your period, you mentioned 4 or 5 days, then what, you can continue fasting. Can you explain that, please? Okay, try again, please, Sister Aisha. Brother Abdul Al from Egypt, Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Yes, sir. I'm originally from Yemen, and we see in our country our people need to food and need to help, and
yeah. Abdul Al, Assalamu alaikum. طيب, please try again. If you're talking about the poor people in your country, they need food and help, and perhaps you're asking about zakat al-fitr, yes, you may send to them zakat al-fitr and zakat al-mal as well. So whether volunteer or mandatory charity, you can send it to them, and all Muslims, when they know that Muslims somewhere else, in other countries, who are in need, they are supposed to help them from their voluntary sadaqat and from the mandatory zakat as well. Thank you, Brother Abdul Al. Okay, Sister, we finished Sister Lima's question. And I would like to add to that, if anyone receives a baby, a child, before sunset on the last day of Ramadan, then they must pay zakat al-fitr on them as well. Assalamu alaikum. Sister Fatima from Nigeria, and I hope that you mute your TV first.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sister Fatima.
How are you, Sheikh?
Just fine, alhamdulillah. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much for our good program. We really get educated from what you do. I just want to ask for your prayers during this Ramadan.
May Allah bless you and your family, Sister Fatima. Sure, inshallah.
Thank you very much, Sheikh. Thank you very much,
You're
Sheikh.
most welcome.
May Allah affect our good deeds.
May Allah answer your dua and protect you and your family, inshallah. Thank you, Sister Fatima from Nigeria. I hope, inshallah, maybe after Ramadan or after Hajj, we'll make a plan to visit Nigeria, inshallah, Azza Jal. Hamza from the KSA, making dua for the non-Muslim parents. 2 conditions. During their lives, make as much dua as possible for them, for their hidayah, for their health, for their welfare. Occupy as much time as you can of your time making dua for them, because this is your opportunity. Maybe Allah will accept your dua and will guide them. When one's parents, or whenever a person dies in a state of non-Islam, then it is not permissible for a Muslim to pray for a non-Muslim after death, whether for mercy or paradise, because this is what Allah the Almighty have decided and judged. And whether you pray or you do not pray, it would not benefit them. This is what Allah also said in the Quran. And He said that to whom? He said that to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said, "Istaghfir lahum, aw la tastaghfir lahum, in tastaghfir lahum 70 marratan, falan yaghfir Allahu lahum." Whether you seek forgiveness for them or you do not, even if you will continue to seek forgiveness for them forever. The term 70 marratan, 70, normally for the Arab back then refers to an infinite number. Even if you were to ask for forgiveness for them infinitely, Allah will not forgive them their sins because they died as non-believers. Let the one whom they used to worship forgive them. This is it. وما كان استغفار إبراهيم لأبيه إلا عن موعدة وعدها إياه فلما تبين له أنه عدو لله تبرأ منه. Whenever Ibrahim alayhi salam sought forgiveness for his father, it was because he promised him. In another ayah said, لأستغفرن لك وما أملك لك من الله من شيء. He gave da'wah to his father. He gave him a beautiful da'wah, but he did not accept. So he said, I shall continue to seek forgiveness for you, as long as I'm not forbidden from doing so. لأستغفرن لك وما أملك لك من الله من شيء. The only thing I can do is ask Allah to forgive you. When his father died in a state of disbelief, he was pagan, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forbid him. فَلَمَّا تَبَيَّنَ لَهُ, when he realized that his dua would be of no vain, no benefit anymore, فَلَمَّا تَبَيَّنَ لَهُ أَنَّهُ عَدُوٌّ لِلَّهِ, he did not only stop making dua for him, rather تَبَرَّأَ مِنْ, he disowned him. إِنَّ إِبْرَاهِيمَ لَأَوَّاهٌ حَلِيمٌ. May Allah guide us to what is best. I would like to say something before we take a break. When I'm sitting here and I'm answering a question, I know that sometimes the answer, hurts the questioner or some of the viewers, but it is not up to me. I'm not here to say what will please you. When somebody says, I divorced my wife 3 times, and I was saying, I was wise and it was deliberate, and I say, khalas, she's not lawful for you anymore. You cannot just take her back or even process a new marriage contract. You have to do this and this and that. He's upset, right? But I'm not here just to make you happy and go to hell and send you to hell. I'm here, or you're asking the sheikh, or you're reading the fatwa online, or you're asking the scholar to know what is the right thing to do. What is the right thing to do? As long as you're provided with a reference, with an ayah or a hadith, with a fatwa of a companion of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then we have to abide by that. The second question, Assalamu alaikum. طيب, I guess we have to take a short break and we'll be back inshallah in a couple minutes. Please stay tuned. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back. Sister Hamza from the case A had a second question, which is making ta'meen after the dua of the Imam on the television, the Imam of the Haram. Will we get the same reward? And she was very specific. She's not asking about praying behind the Imam, because we sorted this out before repeatedly. You cannot pray behind the Imam who is leading the prayer on TV. But the Imam is making dua, whether on radio or TV, even if it is recorded, and you say Ameen, would you get the same reward of the ta'meen? Yes, insha'Allah Azza wa Jal. Because at ta'meen, brothers and sisters, meaning, oh Allah, answer this dua. Oh Allah, answer this dua. So it will be answered for you and for the person who's making the dua. Her third question is praying Taraweeh in one masjid, then going to another masjid to pray tahajjud. Would she be missing anything of the word, particularly the hadith which says, whoever prays with his imam until he leaves, then it will be considered as Qiyamul Layla? Well, if the first masjid finished his prayer, the Taraweeh, then you left. You got a full reward of praying with the imam for a full night, because he finished his prayer and he's dismissed. If you do the same with another masjid in tahajjud, you get the same reward inshallah. I'm saying this because we're all in the same boat. I know that some people shop for a good imam with a beautiful voice, or sometimes they go for Taraweeh in a faraway masjid, but for tahajjud they need a masjid nearby so that they can catch the suhoor. What I'm saying, brothers and sisters, also, if there is a chance to hang around in the masjid, if you don't have minors, if you don't have babies, if you can bring some snacks, and some dry food that you can eat for suhoor, and stay in the masjid, the night would be considered as i'tikaf if you can hang around for the whole night from Maghrib or from Isha until Fajr. Barakallahu fikum. Assalamu alaikum. Sister Aisha from Gambia.
Yeah. I have a question.
Yeah?
My question is, if your parents make a nikah for you without you knowing it, and then you got to know about it later, and you said you don't want, and then your parents says no, you're going to get married by force. What did Islam say about that?
No one can force you to marry anyone against your will, Sister Aisha. Okay? This is what Islam says. I hope you got my answer. No one can force you to marry without your consent or approval. Not even your parents. Barakallahu fiki, Sister Aisha. The Prophet ﷺ said about the girl whom we must take her consent if she is like a first time girl to get married, we call her bikr or virgin, then إذنها صماتها. Her consent is to be quiet, is not to say anything, to lower her head, to lower her gaze as a sign of shyness. But if she is not happy, if she doesn't agree to this proposal, she should say, no, I'm not interested. But for a woman who's been married before, even though she's been married before, her parents and no one could just give her in marriage without her consent. She must say yes or no. Assalamu alaikum. Now, assalamu alaikum. Brother Hisham from the KSA. Assalamu alaikum, Hisham.
Walaikum assalam, Sheikh. I just had one small question. I know that the Tarawih and the Qiyamul Layl are Nafil namaz. They are not Farz namaz. And, I am a Muslim, 30 years old, but unfortunately I do not understand Arabic well. I'm still taking steps to learn Arabic. So when the Imam is actually reading the Qiraat, and, I kind of missed on my concentration because I do not understand what is being exactly recited. So is it okay if I hold the English translation and read the translation along with the Imam so that I know what is the subject that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is speaking to us? Okay. This I'm talking only with respect to the Nafil prayer and not the Fard. No. For Fard, for sure that, we will read only what is in Arabic.
No. Okay. Carrying the English meaning of the translation in the Quran is not permissible. What you can do is just make a little extra effort. Have an hour before the prayer, sit and read the translation of the meaning of the segment that the Imam is going to recite. And brothers and sisters, all the non-Arab who are staying in the Gulf, you're not there just to make money. Even those who are very wealthy, they send their kids to international schools so they do not learn any Arabic. I'm not asking you to learn the slang or the Gulf language. I'm saying this is an opportunity to learn Arabic in schools, whether public schools or private schools, with private tutors, with imams in the masjid. This is an opportunity that you may not find back home. So take advantage of that. But as far as carrying the tarjama, the meaning of the Quran in any language, and reading that behind the imam in the salah, no, that is not permissible. Sister Ahmed from Kuwait.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to Ask Huda.
Thank you, Jazakallah khair. I experienced the same as Sister Anisa from UAE experienced last night. Actually, we were praying behind a very famous Imam visiting Kuwait, but somehow me and others lost their concentration because of the difference of tilawah. May Allah forgive us. Since then, I am not comfortable. I seek Allah's protection from Satan during the Salah. I experienced that the expression and the khushu of Imam transferred to the followers. But sometimes tilawah is good, but the link between the Imam and the Mamoom is not established. Why? This is my question.
No. طيب. جزاك الله خيرا. Sister Ahmed, I got your question. Sister Fatima from Gambia. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, ya Sheikh. Wa alaikum.
Go ahead, Sister Fatima.
I have a question.
Yeah?
I read from somewhere that the last day of your period, after 4 or 5 days, the brownish thing that comes out while fasting, you can continue your fast. It does not terminate it.
Okay.
That's what I wanted to ask.
No, this is not true, Sister Fatima. If the bleeding is continuous and the brownish color is connected to the actual bleeding, that is a part of your period, whether it is on the 4th or the 5th day. You're not allowed to begin fasting or offer the prayer until you see the clear purity. Okay? So that if there is a cotton or a pad and you clean up yourself, it comes out colorless and clean. Then in this case, you are allowed to pray and fast. If after you experience the complete purity, then you experience a brownish or yellowish excretions, that shouldn't affect your fasting or your prayer, because it came after experiencing the clear cleanness. Thank you, Sister Fatima from Gambia. Brother Yusuf from Sierra Leone. He wasn't too happy with the Sheikh's answer about working in a conventional bank. Again, it is not from our pocket, whether the Sheikh Qasim, myself, or any Sheikh you ask. Interest is haram. Whether this interest is offered and paid by the state, or by your own father, or by whoever. So dealing with interest is forbidden. Some people say because the state is like my family, so when they give me interest, that doesn't count like interest, it's a profit or financial help. And how about charging you interest? Whether in developing countries or in advanced countries, interest is interest. Accordingly, working in a firm or a bank that pays interest, deals with interest, charges interest, is not permissible. That's called conventional bank. Barakallahu feek. Brother Amir from Kenya. Assalamu alaikum, Amir.
Assalamu wa Sheikh. How are you?
I'm fine, alhamdulillah. Thank you. Barakallahu feek. Jazakallah khairan, Brother Amir.
Alhamdulillah. Sheikh, I wanted to ask you a question.
Yeah.
If somebody married and after a few months, all of a sudden, the wife decided wants to divorce her, her own willing, she wants a divorce. And the guy already spent on her and furniture and everything in the house. And she insists she wants a divorce on just minor issues. What's the take on the Islamically?
Okay.
That she has to do after you divorce her, you still have to take care of her those 3 months because she asked for that divorce. And what about the amount of money you spend and dowry and what? Is she entitled to return back because she's buying the talaka back because she insisted she wanted the talaka? I just wanted to clarify that.
Amir, could you mention some of... Amir, can you hear me?
Pardon?
Can you hear me? Amir?
No,
okay, can you mention some of the reasons why she is asking for divorce?
Because the person had 2 wives and she's enviable of the other wives every time, a lot of obstacles. Don't pick the phones of your kids or your wife or what.
So the second wife is the one, the recently married one who's asking for divorce, right?
Yeah, the current one.
No.
So a lot of abusive language, a lot of things, but the husband is patient on that. But she insists, then I want out of this marriage. And the husband is doing everything with his wife, taking care of and bills and rent and food and everything. All the desire.
Right. Thank you. Barakallah feek. Brother Amir from Kenya. Sister Anisa from United Arab Emirates. And the other sister who requested dua, inshallah, tonight I will remember to make dua for you in tahajjud, inshallah. May Allah enable us to observe the prayer in tahajjud tonight, ya Rab. With regards to the fasting of the 6 white days of Shawwal, while you owe 7 days because of the menses during Ramadan, you want to make it up. The right order is to make up the missed days first, then to fast, excuse me, to fast the 6 days. And it doesn't have to be consecutive, it doesn't have to be every day. If it is extremely difficult to do both, then do as much as you can, but just make sure that the 6 days must be offered during the month of Shawwal. If you intend to fast the 6 days whom the Prophet ﷺ has said about them, whoever observes fasting during Ramadan, then follows that by fasting for 6 days in Shawwal, shall receive the reward of fasting for a whole year. Okay? So some of the scholars who understood the hadith literally state that whoever fasts during Ramadan, so you have to fast the number of days of Ramadan, complete the iddah first. So you have to make up the missed days first. But also there is another reference from Aisha radiallahu anha that sometimes she would delay making up the missed days of Ramadan until Sha'ban of the following year. Yani just 1 month before Ramadan. So a combination of all of that we say, begin by making up the missed days. If you can afford to do both, make up the missed days and fast the 6 days of the month of Shawwal. That will be the best scenario. If you can't, for any reason, then you can fast the 6 days and inshallah make up the missed days inshallah some other time. You have all the way until the month of Sha'ban of the following year, but the sooner is the better because you never know. A beautiful dua that I want you to keep praying for yourself and your family. The dua that the Prophet ﷺ used to invoke Allah with the most. Ya muqallib al-qulub, thabbit qalbi ala dinik. The changes or the feeling of the changes that happens to the person, especially when he is very happy that he's become religiously committed and practicing, then he feels a sudden drop. You need tathbit, confirmation from Allah. So the dua means, oh Allah, the one who changes the hearts, keep my heart firm on your straight path, on your religion. Brother Ali from United Arab Emirates, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Yes, Ustad. I have a question regarding zakat.
Naam.
Yes, my wife has investment in stocks, and it reached already in nisab in 1 year.
No.
Can we get zakat for it? And if we can get zakat from it, can we? As of now, we cannot withdraw the zakat because there's some limits on the withdrawal. We can withdraw it several months. Can we wait for that month, or can we get a zakat? Can we consider the zakat from the one brother who has a borrow from us?
Got your question, Brother Ali from United Arab Emirates. He has some shares in the stock market reached or exceeded the nisab, and it is zakatable because completed 1 hawl. So does he have to pay zakat on that? Yes, you pay zakat on the current value of the stock market, of the shares. Whenever there is a withdrawal limit, you want to cash some of the shares so that you can pay the zakat. You cash whatever you can cash, and if you have other saving or some cash so that you can make the payment of the zakat on time, you should do that. Otherwise, whenever you cash it, whenever you have an access to cash it, then pay it inshallah. Brother Muhammad from United Arab Emirates, who's flying from Emirates or from Dubai to London inshallah on the Eid day, Wara day. What determines whether to fast or not to fast is when you experience dawn. Where at? If it is in the zone where people are celebrating Eid today, then you break your fast. And when you go to London, insha'Allah Azza Jal, you're not fasting on the day because you do not intend fasting before Fajr, nor do you have to fast. And you celebrate Eid with them on the following day. But if you reach to the UK where people are for sure fasting on Friday, which most likely I believe that they will not be fasting on Friday, okay? Well, it depends again on the moon citation, I'm not predicting. In this case, that if you reach in any country where they are still fasting, you must fast with them and you break your fast with them. Because the Prophet ﷺ said, الصوم يوم تصومون والفطر يوم تفطرون. Whatever people are doing in the locality that you're arriving to, you must follow them. But in this case, if you be at dawn in the zone of the Middle East, and it has been confirmed on Thursday night that tomorrow is the Eid day, then you're not required to fast because you experienced Eid in the country or in the area that you are in currently. So if you go to India, to London, to ever, and they're still fasting, that day you're not required to fast, even if you withhold before people, nor do you have to make it up. Sister Ahmed from Kuwait, because we ran out of time, that if you lose khushu' in the salah to the point that you cannot follow up with the imam, then pray by yourself. Hold the Quran. Recite short surahs, okay, that you know their meaning. Recite them over and over and pray as many rak'ahs as you want, okay? And meanwhile, we need to prepare for the following Ramadan, inshallah, by learning some Arabic, attending some Arabic classes. You have seen on Huda screen right before the program how many reverts, mashallah. These guys, Canadians, British, Americans, African, they were non-Muslims. They did not know Arabic. MashaAllah, they studied, they accepted Islam. So they are in Islam younger than any of us. They learn Arabic, and they learn Deen. Some of them are mechanical engineers, some of them are, pharmacists, some of them. But learning Arabic and learning the Quran is no big deal. Rather, it's easy for whomever Allah makes it easy for. And it is indeed a great act of worship. تقبل الله منا ومنكم. Amir, we went over time, so tomorrow, inshallah, I will be more than happy to begin by answering your questions. Until then, brothers and sisters, I leave you all in the care of Allah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Allah is my heart's speech. Your mercy is what I beseech.